Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. It is winter, the radiator is on, and I am very cold, but someone in the Patreon Discord server just told me it is -8 degrees and they wear a t-shirt, so I feel like I've got to try to wear this cute dress without a jacket. But if you see me in a coat in 5 minutes, it's because it's like 8 degrees and I'm cold. Join my Patreon to get access to the Discord server, by the way. Anyway, that aside, today I wanted to do something that I love doing. Finding a good old Facebook group to sit in and scroll through and just whack my head into a wall, being like, oh my god, people! And the group of choice today is Toxic In-Law Help. Because I love reading about toxic in-laws. I find it really entertaining. And so I wanted to entertain all of you as well with, I saved 35 different posts. So we'll get into the tip of them, and then there'll be more for later should you want a part 2. But before we do get into it, I would love to let you know that today I have partnered with Belisar to give everyone who places an order with the link in my description a free rose toy with every order. So if you don't know about Belisar, let me give you the rundown. Belisar is a company created by women for all things sexual wellness, and that includes creating a very large range of toys for you to use for your own pleasure, including the viral TikTok toy, the Rose, which you've all seen, and if you haven't tried, you absolutely have to. She is a suction toy, which, the best kind, we can all agree, right? And fits perfectly in the palm of your hand. She's cute. You can put her on the bedside table and people wouldn't even know that it was a toy. They're just like, oh, cute little Rose. Perfect, beautiful, love her. As well as the Rose, they have another toy that also you have most definitely all heard about, which is the Air Vibe, which comes in this cute little charging case and is their dual stimulating toy, which has the suction, because if I'm telling you about a toy, it's probably gonna be a suction one because I love them. But this one has the added benefit of internal stimulation as well. So you have them both going at the same time and you can control them separately as well. So if you want it a bit more intense internally and less externally, you can totally just like play around until you have something that is to your liking. And then when you're done, you put her back in the cute little charging case, and then she's easily transportable. Chuck her in your bag, whatever. She's gonna stay clean, beautiful, brilliant, we love. And then we have my favorite. In the past, you have heard me talk about their Pebble toy, which is another one of their suction toys, shocker. But Pebble got a glow up, and now we have the Pebble Pro, which is the standard Pebble toy at a glance, which fits really nicely in your hand. It's got the normal suction, but you can up the game. You can just pop out the little suction-y part, and then you can pop on something new. There is this one that's called Thump, and when you put it on, you turn it on, it makes like a thumping. So if tapping is more your vibe, she's got you. And then there's the other option, which is a game changer, and my favorite, which is this little tongue. I don't know if you... Whoop. I know I just said that suction toys are the best, but let me tell you, this top, this like switch out is an absolute game changer. Like, you do not want to miss out. And when you purchase her, using the link in the description, you get a Rose toy for free alongside her. So like, you really don't want to miss out. And if this is not your vibe and you do prefer something different, such as the Air Vibe, that is also obviously an option. There is such a massive range of toys for you to choose from, and out of all of the ones I've tried, they're all fantastic. There is no wrong choice. These are just 3 of my favorites, but feel free to go peruse. Pick one of your own favorites. I hope that you enjoy. Please do not forget to use the link in my description to get your Rose toy for free with any order. Thank you so much, Belisar, for sponsoring this video. It is always a pleasure working with you. And let's get into the in-laws. All right, let's go. Buckle up. Hello, I need to know if I'm overreacting. I fell out with my mother-in-law, but I've tried everything to fix it. Every time we see each other, she is just plain old rude and gives very snarky comments. Anyway, yesterday I was very sick and I was asleep, but I was woken up to somebody walking into my house. Turns out it was my mother-in-law. She didn't knock or anything, but my fiance didn't say anything, but just started whispering. Bear in mind, I said I don't want her anywhere near the house or anything, and I'm kind of hurt. Am I overthinking or overreacting? No, that's wild. Oh my God. Imagine having this like discussed boundary of like, I don't want this woman in my house. I don't want her here. I don't know the reasons. I don't need to know your reasons. If that's something that has been established and a boundary that has been set, waking up in the middle of the night to your husband sneaking his mother into your house. What the fuck? What the fuck? Ex-husband, because he should be, because what the fuck? You don't sneak people into your house. That's also just so scary. Just so scary. In the middle of the night, someone's just like in your house and you didn't know there was going to be someone in your house. That's terrifying. Oh my God. Yeah, no, you are not in the wrong here. You're not over exaggerating. I think you deserve to be very upset and feel very disrespected because you were just very disrespected. Oh my God. I changed my profile picture last night. Hot selfie. Since our wedding last May, it was a picture of me and my husband. Anywho, my husband woke up for work today with a voicemail from his mom saying, I love you so much. If you need to talk, I'm always here. I can help you however you need. Money or a place to go, I'm here for you, sweetie. Just let me know. He was like, the fuck? So he calls her and she goes on to say that my sister-in-law, only one I don't have blocked, told her about my profile picture and we know what that means. And he goes, what does it mean, Mom? I literally picked that picture out for her. We're not getting a divorce and Facebook sure as hell doesn't validate my marriage like it validates yours and sister-in-law. And then she hung up. The funniest part, I changed my profile picture because I told my husband that these guys in a group I'm in keep thinking I'm him. So he told me I should change it. And these a-holes immediately ran with divorce, divorce. That's so funny. That's just so funny. Firstly, that she obviously has them all blocked on social media for a reason, and clearly he doesn't have the best relationship with them either. And I'm just so obsessed with she just changes her profile picture from a wedding photo, and they're like, oh my God, they're getting divorced. We know what that means. They're getting divorced. Did you just expect it to be the wedding photo forever? It's like till death do us part, and also till death do our profile pictures stay the same. Like, your profile picture is it's a photo of you. Like, yeah, sometimes other people are in it, usually because you've gotten married or something, but like usually your profile picture is just yourself, so people know who you are. You kind of change them as you grow because, you know, it's been a long time since the wedding. About time to update the profile picture. I love jumping to divorce. That is so funny. That is so funny. Now you can just like play around with Facebook photo profile pictures and know that it's going to be the talk of the town with your in-laws. And I just think that's a really fun game to play. Text from my mother-in-law to my husband. She is so persistent on having our baby by herself that it makes me uncomfortable, and she says she just wants to be a grandma. I've explained many times that she can be a grandma without having him by herself. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so there's no reason we would need her to watch him. I've told her why I don't feel comfortable with it. She's very persistent. I honestly can't stand her, and she has left voicemails talking bad about me on accident. She's constantly asking husband for money we don't have to spare, and he gives it to her every time. She kisses my baby on the lips after I've asked her countless times not to kiss him, and she even waits until I'm out of the room, and once when I turned around to grab something, she took my pain medicine days after I had given birth. She's an addict. She pops pills constantly, and her boyfriend is a sex offender. Husband agrees with me on her not watching him, but I'd rather not have her around baby at all. Everyone I've talked to about this thinks I'm being dramatic, so I'm wondering, am I being dramatic about this? Sorry. People think you're being dramatic because you don't want your addict mother-in-law and her sex offender boyfriend watching your baby. I don't think you're being dramatic at all. I think, me personally, if she's in a relationship with a sex offender, you have absolutely every right to just never speak to either of them ever again. And the fact that your husband is giving her money, I feel like we don't need him either. I feel like I feel like we shouldn't be giving her money that you don't have, by the way. Like, this money should be going towards yourselves and, you know, your child, and not towards fueling his mother's addiction and relationship with a sex offender. And I don't know in any world, like, how any person could think you're being dramatic. I don't understand how any logical person would think that it would be a good idea to give them time with the baby unsupervised. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Never. No. No, if she wants time with the baby, she can do it while sober. And also, when she is not in a relationship with a sex offender, I need to say that. Just to hammer it home that that's a thing that happens and people still don't understand why you don't want to leave them alone with your baby. I just don't think so. I think, no, they don't need your baby ever. Ever, actually. I think no contact just from that information, to be honest. You can be in contact again when that relationship ends. Then, okay. Then the conversation can be had. Until that point, nope, nothing. And if your husband disagrees, he can get out too. And on a separate part of that, just because this comes up a lot, and this was something that happened recently, is she said that this woman, her mother-in-law, is always kissing her baby when she has told him not to. And this happens a lot. There's a lot of in-laws who complain and get pissy when their kids say that they aren't allowed to kiss their grandchildren. They're like, oh, you're just so sensitive these days. I kissed you all the time and it was fine and nothing ever happened. So this was reposted, and I saw this recently as well, of a two-year-old loses his left eye after a kiss from an acquaintance transmitted the herpes virus to his eye. And someone posted it and said, when toxic people fight you about not being able to kiss your child, show them this. And I think that's really important. And I saw a conversation around it as well, because growing up, I always heard that if you have cold sores, which is a strain of herpes, right? You were born with it. Like, it means your parent had it and then you were born with having it. And then I read that that's perhaps not true. And instead you were kissed by someone as a child who had it, and that is how it was transmitted. And, you know, oftentimes it's fine. And you don't get like ill to the point where you lose an eye, but it's also not great, right? Like, it can be really damaging. Obviously, it can be extremely dangerous, especially if the baby has like an extra weak immune system, right? There is a child who lost their eye because someone kissed them. Don't kiss babies. The rules are there for a reason. When people set boundaries around things like that, they're there for a reason. Respect them. And don't kiss babies. I pretty much get along with my husband's parents and grandfather. They moved in recently because when all my husband's siblings lived with them, they ran up her bills and then moved out without helping her catch up. So my husband and I opened up our home so they won't have to struggle with those bills. They pay rent and groceries, even cook dinner and help with my toddler, which is amazing. But my brother-in-law, on the other hand, he is literally a child. If we eat dinner and don't save him a plate, he cusses and fusses. Always broke, so we won't pay rent but a $70 gas bill. However, he'll pop up with weed, smokes every single day, brings his friends, and literally eats all of our food. Our other brother-in-law just became homeless and refuses to work. 29. He just popped up at our home and never left. Pretty much does the same thing, and my husband is not happy at all. My mother-in-law says I can't leave him to be homeless, but his other two sisters have spare bedrooms and refuse to offer help. So now we're stuck. My husband wants to move to another rental since we have another baby on the way and just take his grandfather with us. Everything would have been great if it wasn't for these two. I'm so ready to tell them, if you don't like how I run my home, then leave, since y'all don't pay anything. My pregnancy rage has been high, lol. I don't get along with his two sisters, another story, but what would you do, or how would you go about it? We were just counting on his parents and grandfather living with us, not his two brothers, who are obviously leeches, but I don't want to offend my mother-in-law. As a mom, I get it, but they are just draining her as well. This is so, like, the fact, to summarize, right? These in-laws, these parents and this grandparent were forced to move out of their home because they stopped being able to afford bills because of their children who are living there. Probably specifically these two sons. So the solution is to help them by moving them in with this family, with these two, right? And then the brothers come in and just start doing the same thing here. And mother-in-law is like, but I can't let them be homeless. Wait, you've just gone through this. You literally had to be rescued from this situation. You know this isn't ideal. You weren't able to pay bills anymore. You had to move out and move in with your son because of how they were treating you. And now you've brought them in and are just causing the same problem but for someone else, and then being like, but you have to deal with it. People in the comments are like, you have a husband problem because he's not standing up for his parents. And that is a different thing, because that is also at play here. Because yes, this man being like, let's just move out and get a new place. Isn't that just then the exact same situation that you had before? I'm confused. Is that the exact same situation except you're paying rent? Because then you could have just left your parents where they were. It would have been the exact same, no? Like, you've just recreated the situation you saved them from, but now you live there too. The solution is to not then move out, because then what's going to happen? The brothers will leave eventually, and then you move them back in with you, and then the cycle repeats. No, you have to put your foot down and set a boundary. The in-laws want their brother, like their sons, to live with them. They have to go back to their old place. I'm sorry. These are grown ass adults, and I'm sorry that they're like, don't have a job and they're homeless or whatever. Like, that sucks. But that is also not your responsibility if you are unable to accommodate them. Like, it is good to help family, it is good to offer support, but when you are unable to do that, it is not at all your responsibility. You were doing this out of the kindness of your heart, and now you were just being taken advantage of. And your husband isn't standing up for you and isn't, like, you know, setting boundaries with his own family. And I feel like it's to keep the peace, but that just makes it so much harder for you. Parents are allowed to stay. You offered to give them a place. And it's more on, like, the fact the sisters are saying no and not letting them live there says that they know about the situation, what these brothers are like. If they want to go live somewhere for free, they can go figure it out. Go live with a friend. Do something else. Find somewhere else. Because it's not fair to just take advantage of a family member. It's not fair to do that. If you do not have the ability to do this, you do not have to do it. And the fact that they are asking that of you is not fair. And you have every right to be upset about this, because it isn't fair to be at the point where you're like being forced out of your own home. You tried to do a good thing and now you're being forced out of your own home. Like, that's not fair. That's not right. That's not okay. And I'm very sorry. My toxic mother-in-law has now stooped to the level of texting my husband from my stepson's phone, pretending to be my stepson. Here is the context. My toxic mother-in-law was heavily involved in helping raise my stepson for the first 7 years of his life, because his birth mother has not been in the picture since he was an infant. I came into the picture when he was 7, and he is almost 12 now. My toxic mother-in-law has all but ruined my relationship with my husband and has consistently attempted to stunt my relationship with my stepson. She treats my stepson as her surrogate husband. Oh, goody. We love a boy mom. She has never gone one day without sending him at least 5 texts and 2 phone calls. This is every single day she's not with him. Mind you, my husband lets her have him 2 nights a week. It's not enough somehow. He's 11. Stop suffocating him. She makes my stepson feels like he has to constantly report to her when he's not with her, as if he's with some random babysitter and not his parents. The only break he gets from it is when he's at school. She literally tells him he needs to text her the second he walks through the door getting home from school. So he does, and immediately apologizes to her if he forgets to text her. It makes me sad for him and how this is going to affect him growing up. He has openly expressed annoyance at the constant texts and phone calls, and my husband just tells him that he doesn't need to respond when he doesn't want to. Well, he clearly feels like he does, and my husband won't address it himself with his own mother. I do not think my husband sees the depth of conditioning his mother has ingrained into my stepson. I don't have the power to do anything about it, and my husband is too used to this enmeshment to see it as toxic and harmful. He says, it's just how she is. Nonetheless, my stepson and I have a good relationship, but almost every roadblock we have encountered is a direct result of my toxic mother-in-law. Wanting to pause for a second, just to take some deep breaths, because, oh my god, this is what I say, right? It's all freaking connected. These toxic boy moms are a very large part of the in-laws that I complain about in this group. You will notice that a majority of the in-laws we are talking about are toxic mother-in-laws, who are usually toxic boy moms, right? This is not a mother-in-law support group. This is a in-law in general support group. But these mothers-in-law are like so overbearing and ruin so many relationships. And it's so frustrating. And I talk about it a lot in all my toxic boy mom videos, right? That is them when they are kids, when I talk about them when their kids are kids. And now this is them in their final form, when their sons are married and their wives are suffering because these sons never see anything that their mothers do wrong. They don't see anything that they do as wrong. They don't stand up to them. They never take the side of their wives, and it ruins so many relationships, such as this one, where it is also continuing the cycle and hurting his son because he's like, oh, it's just how she is. She's overstepping boundaries. And being like, you don't have to reply if you don't want to. Okay, but put yourself in his shoes, because if this is how you were raised, you also would have replied even when you didn't want to. You know how this affects you. You know how it feels to be in this position when you are made to feel like you have to reply or you'll be disappointing her, right? Like, you should understand this. And being like, oh, it's just how she is, doesn't help anyone. Doesn't help anyone. It's hurting everyone, actually. It's enabling your mother, harming your son by like teaching him this unhealthy relationship and that he has to like do things in order to get approval of someone that he loves. And it is also driving a wedge between you and your wife because she just wants you to help raise your son. Cooperate. God, stand up to your mother, please. Okay, anyway, carrying on. So as I said, my husband lets her have him 2 nights a week. She rarely sends back the clothes we send him there with, so I've gotten very careful about sending clothes when he goes over there because I know we won't get them back for at least a month and we always have to hound her about it. She is always saying she doesn't have enough clothes for him when like half his closet is empty because she has the clothes. I do all of my stepson's laundry 90% of the time. I always have a mental inventory of what he has and what's missing, so I know exactly when she has enough clothes at her house for him and when she doesn't. Anyways, today she picked him up after school and he was wearing a sweatshirt when he left, and I also packed an extra one in his bag. 15 minutes after she picks him up, they come back. He comes back in and I ask him what's up from my office and he says, I just forgot a toy. But I knew instantly she sent him back in to get more sweatshirts. I hear him grab sweatshirts out of his closet. His bedroom is right next to my office. So I asked him why he was getting more sweatshirts because I had already packed what he needed. My husband is still at work when this is all happening. Fast forward to this text. My stepson does not talk or text like this at all. He never uses punctuation when he texts. Interestingly enough, this is exactly how my toxic mother-in-law texts, specifically putting spaces in between words and punctuation. See second pic for an example. I'm 100% sure she texted this and not my stepson. I am so exhausted. And the text message says, Dad, I want to tell you something. I know you're going to be unhappy. I went back to the house to get a sweatshirt. Stepmom asked what I'm getting. I said a toy, so she wouldn't get mad at me. I was getting a sweatshirt. She said there was one on me and in the bag. Then she got mad at me. I didn't see it in the car. Then stepmom said Grandma better give everything back. I'm sorry, Dad. I wanted you to hear it from me. It's wild to me that you insist this child text you multiple times a day and then you can't even pretend to text like him? Do you even actually pay attention to him? How are you doing this? I don't understand how you like text someone every single day and then when you go to pretend to be him, you sound like a middle-aged woman. Like you can't even copy the punctuation he uses. You can't speak like him. Very weird, very stupid, but you know, at least it was easily called out and noticed that it was grandmother like creating drama for the sake of it. This very much has the energy of trying to drive a wedge between her son and his wife, right? And like the child as well, which is just so fucked up. Why can't you just let your son be happy? Why can't you just let your grandson be happy? Why do you have to go in and create drama? Like, I don't understand what these people benefit from this. Like, what are you getting out of this? Why do you crave power so badly? I just do not understand. Like, why? Why do people get off on power like this, where it's like negatively impacting the lives of people they supposedly love? Also, like, if you want to have him like regularly and even more often, and you have all these clothes being like, oh, I can't get clothes, I can't afford anything, I can't do that, all that's like, you realize the result of that is more just going to be you get less time with him. Stealing stuff and then lying about it is going to result in you getting less time with him. So maybe you should be acting on being a bit better. A lot of comments on this one were telling her to just like leave and get out of there and just like be fine without them. But like, it seems like she does really love this kid at the very least, right? And if there was a separation, there's no way she would end up with any sort of like custody over him. And that would be a really upsetting loss. I think what really needs to happen here is that this man needs to like step up and like enforce boundaries and stop putting all of this responsibility of dealing with his mother onto his partner, because that isn't fair. And he needs to like actually take some accountability and some responsibility in the situation, because this sucks. I saw this post that I just thought was fun. That is, what was the first red flag you remember seeing with your toxic in-law? And I just want to go through some of the comments just so we can be a little bit like, oh my God, together. The way she constantly has to touch him, like rub his back or scratch or play with his hair. That is a bit weird. I will say, it is a bit odd. Trying to invite my husband for early dinners they thought I wouldn't be able to make. Oh, we didn't think you'd be able to make it. Yeah, that's like, I love deliberately inviting your son and his partner, deliberately setting the plans at a time you think his like wife won't be able to be there. Why? Again, this comes down to one of those things of like, I really hope this man stood up for you, because what the hell? She cancelled meeting me to go on a date with a stranger she met online. Lol. Yeah, I mean, that is a pretty significant red flag in showing her priorities on her son's life. She made a joke about me at dinner to excuse myself to the restroom, asking my boyfriend, now husband, if I was going to throw up my food. I am thin, yes, but mind you, my mother-in-law is thinner than me. I don't even think that last part doesn't matter. That's an absurd statement to make. Who says that? That is so inappropriate. What goes through people's heads? You know what I mean? Like, some people just like say the most batshit, out of pocket stuff. And you just have to kind of sit there and be like, where the fuck did that come from? How did your brain conjure that up, and why did you just say that? How did you think that was at all appropriate? The first time I met her, I was 17. I was 5'8" and 140 pounds with huge tater tots. She looked at me and said, he usually only likes skinny girls. Oh, and she herself was almost 500 pounds. Again, I don't think her body type really matters. I guess it's a level of hypocrisy. But in general, regardless of that, why do you say things like that? Why? What do you get out of that? Why do you say, I don't understand why people speak. Some people just should never talk. And these are those people. What the fuck? Why are you speaking? Shut up. Accused me of being a gold digger and my husband had no money and lived in a basement. That's just hilarious. That's just really funny. Sure, why? You gotta find some reason to hate her. I love that that implies that she had no flaws and she's gotta look for something. So it's like, yeah, well, you're only with him for his money. That doesn't work. He has no money. What money? What is a polite and respectful way to keep the peace? To tell my in-laws that my parents will be keeping my daughters the whole time we were in hospital. It's about 3 or 4 days with the C-section for me. My in-laws want to take her and do things with her. And for my mental health, I do not want that at all. It brings me so much anxiety and discomfort when they watch her, and I really don't want to be anxious and uncomfortable right after I have our baby. Help. It's really upsetting to me that this has to be asked, right? The whole idea of being like, how do I say this and keep the peace? How do I say this without starting something? How do I say this without people getting mad at me? It's so upsetting because like, you should just be able to set a boundary. You should just be able to say something. And I relate to this. Right? So this is coming from a personal place. Having to carefully think about what you have to say, what you have to ask, what you have to confess, like having to think about that so carefully, just like, and walking on eggshells just to keep the peace over something so small, over something that is like important, is so frustrating. Like, you should just be able to go to them and be like, my parents are going to be watching the kids while I'm in hospital, by the way. That's just the decision we made. I know you wanted to. I'm really sorry, but this is just what's happening. And they should just accept that. That is what healthy people do. And the fact that you have to like twist your words and like soften the blow and try to say things in like a big compliment sandwich or whatever to like, and you have anxiety about sharing this, shows the exact reason why you are making the right decision. Because if you cannot tell someone is doing this and you aren't, without them getting mad, then yeah, they're not the people who should be looking after your baby. They're not responsible enough. They are not mature enough for that. God, it's frustrating. And this is such a thing, right? Because this is something that carries you. You learn this sort of like keep the peace behavior quite young, and it follows you into everything. I am constantly anxious all the time when I ask for things, have plans, or I need to say no to someone or something. Like, I am so anxious and stressed and spend so long thinking and rethinking and thinking, asking for basic shit or turning down basic shit or like giving a reason to someone, when like most of the time I probably could just be straight up. Most of the time I probably could just say it. But I've been so conditioned to need to be like gentle and soften the blow and be like a mediator that like, that is terrifying to me. That's so scary to me. And like, potentially, you know, that is what's happening here. And this is just a result of that being brought up in you, and like that's just something that you are afraid of and have to do. But based on the context of where it is being asked, I have to assume this is something that is required for these people in order to keep the peace. And I would love to say, just don't keep the peace. I would love to say, like, just tell them straight up, and if they don't like it, they can deal. But obviously then that has ramifications, and then they're gonna be kicking up a fuss. Oh my god, it's exhausting having to deal with people like this. You just want them to like suck it up and deal with it and like just feel their feelings, but they make it your problem, right? And it's like you have to keep the peace and be mindful, because if you don't, somehow you suffer for it. It's just a miserable experience from people who are bad at communicating and like making their problems everyone else's problems. And the world would be a better place if people could just like communicate and like be told no and be okay with that. People could realize things aren't always personal, or just that like, you know, sometimes they're just gonna be turned down. Sometimes people just aren't gonna like them. Sometimes, like, if people just accepted that, the world would be much easier to get through life. Why can't some mothers call their grown child out on their bullshit? Dearest husband ran to his mummy crying because he's upset I have a boundary and told him no, not at this time, to something. Well, instead of calling him out and in his childish behavior, she goes and talks shit about me, calling me all sorts of names. My thought process is she did that because if she called him out, he'd be screaming and arguing with her next. It just doesn't help me when he goes to others that won't call him out so he can come back to me and be like, see, so-and-so even said it's you that's the problem. I could do the exact same thing and put the whole truth, both sides out there, and get realistic responses, but then he'd only twist the stuff to make it like it's still me. I'm sorry, I just needed to vent. I'm sorry. You need a new husband. Get him out, get rid of him. You set a boundary and you say no, and his response is to go cry and be like, she told me no. Then he's not a man you should be with. He's not a man that should be with anyone. He can just go run home and live with mommy, right? He can go be her problem. You don't need that in your life. You deserve better. You deserve someone who listens to you and respects you and understands boundaries and doesn't manipulate you and always tell you that you're wrong, and then likely say that you always think you're right, and so you should just let him be right every now and then, because they love to do that, don't they? Oh, you're always right, says the person who never lets you be right. Yeah, divorce. Sometimes that's the solution. And that is in fact the solution here. Stop settling for men like this. Anyone watching who has anything to do with a man who acts in any way like this, good riddance to him. Goodbye. Someone just posted this image that is me still cutting my grapes on their wedding day, and it's a mother cutting grapes for her son, the groom, and someone just reposted that to be like, this is how it is. I don't know if this image is AI or if it's an actual drawing. Either way, the point still stands. And I know I already talked about the toxic boy mom thing in here, but my God, the fact that it's so prevalent, astounding. The fact that I learned about this, we all probably learned about this when we were so young, is wild. Like, I remember my mom telling me about this as an issue when I was like 12, because I was like, I don't even remember what sparked the conversation, but she effectively was like, a lot of men look for in a partner a mother. And she just kind of laid that out for me. She's like, that's what a lot of men want in a relationship. They want a mother, and don't tolerate it. Don't accept that. Don't put up with that. But that's what they want. And I remember just being like, that's really weird. I don't understand. And she just being like, yeah, it is really weird. Don't put up with it. I mean, it's true. And because it's so normal, so many people just accept it. And then they get to the point in the relationship where they realize that, like, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have accepted it. Like, sometimes families come as a package deal, right? Not all the time. Sometimes you can get the person without the family. There's a lot of stories in here where the husband is also no contact, where everyone is no contact, which, you know, great. You've got to take it into consideration. If the person you're dating is like really close with a family member, that's fine. It is all well and dandy and okay to have a good relationship with your family, obviously. But like, if it becomes invasive in the relationship, it shouldn't be. That should never be a thing. There should never be any invasion in your relationship from a family member. That is not normal. That's not something that should be happening. And you need to know that, right? Meddling from an in-law, not normal. I had a 2-hour conversation with one of my husband's female cousins yesterday. She confirmed my suspicions and admitted that they judged me before getting to know me. According to her, they felt they had to handpick the woman for him and didn't think he needed to be with a woman like me who already had 4 young children, none of whom were biologically his. She said that they didn't think I was the one for him and didn't take interest in me because they believed I was just going to be his girlfriend for a moment. She apologized for misjudging me and not getting to know me for herself. She acknowledged they should have stayed out of our business and remained neutral, especially since guys often lie to get empathy and support. She noted that everyone talked about me and I accepted her apology. She said she told the truth, which no one else had the guts to do. That's really sickening though. And there's a lot of comments. Like, I feel that's an extremely common thing for families to do. This is how I felt with my husband's family. Nobody even really bothered to get to know me at events for like the first 2 years. I feel like the more I stick around, the more I made them nervous and upset. It's been about 10 years now, and I feel like they still don't fully accept that we're together. We've been married 4 years, and honestly, I'm okay with that. All of them are losers with failed marriages and relationships themselves. I don't think any of them have actually had a healthy relationship with someone else, so it makes sense that this healthy relationship would make them feel confused. My husband's family is the same way, except to this day, they think they know me. They judge me based on my past. I was a violent teen, but I'm quite literally 30 now. We have 6 kids, some of who they will never meet because they are narcissistic, Bible-thumping hypocrites. And then someone saying that they would hate for their sibling-in-laws to feel the way their husband's family makes them feel, so they make an effort with their siblings, partners. This is just wild to me because, like, I don't understand why they all care. I don't know. I don't come from a family with close extended family. I have a large family. My mom has 4 siblings. 3 of them have kids. So on my mom's side, I think I've counted, I have like 7, 8 cousins, and then they have kids now. Like, it's a large family. My extended family here in the UK is big and they are all close, but I didn't grow up here. So that is new to me. It doesn't count for how they impacted my environment, because the way I view extended family is that they don't matter. They don't matter. And I know they matter to a lot of people, and that's fascinating to me. It's nice to have a big family, right? Like, I get it. But like, to have them all that invested in your life, like it impacts them, God, that would piss me off so much. Oh my God, it's none of your fucking business, bro. It's barely the in-laws. It's like not even like mother-in-law, father-in-law's business, or like sister-in-law, like sibling, like immediate family holds the most amount of weight. I care more about what they would think, but the amount I care about what they think depends on the amount my partner cares about what they think, right? Like, my partner has no relationship with their family and doesn't care about what they think. I also don't give a shit about what they think. If my partner cares very greatly for their family and cares greatly about what they think, then yeah, I'm gonna want to make a better impression and I care a bit more about what they think, right? But extended family, I just don't think I could ever find it in me to like care that much. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's when you're in a situation when you are surrounded by extended family who all hate you, that's gotta suck. Like, that's gotta hurt so bad. As much as you don't want to care because it shouldn't matter, it doesn't make the fact that you are feeling those things in a very real way. And if those people are important, it just feels like too much pressure. Like, that's a lot of people you have to please, and it shouldn't fucking matter. I don't know why they care. This is what I mean, right? Why does that matter? I don't understand. What, I'll see you at Christmas once a fucking year and you're that invested? Like, you care about my, like, who I am dating to the point that like it's gonna bother you because you have to see them maybe once a year. Get over it. Get over it. Why do you have to be involved with like love life of your cousin or like your second cousin or your auntie or whoever the fuck? Like, leave them the fuck alone. I care a great deal for like my auntie and uncle here because they gave me a home and they're like my they're like my London parents. I care a lot about what they think. But if they kind of like if they got like super involved in my like love life outside of if they saw I was in a toxic situation and were like offering me help, I would be very confused, right? And if my cousins came in and were like offering up their opinions and being like, oh, I don't care, oh, I think I could pick someone better, blah, I would be so confused and so shocked and bewildered because it's none of your fucking business. It's not even my parents' business. No one's business. Leave me alone. Like my partner, or be neutral at the very least, right? Like, you don't have a say in this. It doesn't actually impact you, believe it or not. Person I see once a year. it makes no difference to your life. Anyway, I've talked about this for way too long. I don't know. I don't have a relationship with my extended family. I don't know. My views on family are obviously very skewed compared to a lot of people's views on family. I just don't get it. I also didn't grow up with grandparents, so I also have a different view on like in-law parents and grandparents too, because I had one grandparent, she lived on the opposite side of the world to me. So like when these people in these groups are constantly talking about like, you are denying them of having this relationship with their like extended family. You are denying them of having this relationship with a grandparent, and that's so important for these kids to have. You're denying them of having, like, they're fine. You know what? Kids can grow up without grandparents and be so fine. It's so fine. They do not need you. If you want to be in their life, be a good person. Be a good grandparent. You do not have the right to be in that kid's life. It is a privilege. And that is even more true if you extend it out. I know kids aren't even involved in this, but they potentially will be. No, they are. She has 4 kids. So they are involved in this. And if they had their own kids, like if you want to be involved in the life of your family members, you have to be like less involved, right? There's like a line you have to walk on. I feel like I've rambled and haven't really made very much sense in this whole part of the video, but you know, I just sometimes just chatting. I'm just chatting shit. I don't know what to fucking tell you. On that ramble that probably made no sense and may get cut out of the video because it made no fucking sense, I need to go eat something and get my blood sugar up because I think it's leading to my brain going all globby. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you are not aware, by the way, as I mentioned at the start of the video, I have just added a Discord server to my Patreon if you wanted to join in the little community over there. I've got a lot of fun projects coming up this year. I'm doing a lot of new stuff, especially like music stuff, which means that I will have like less time to be able to dedicate to this channel, which is, you know, my job and where my income comes from. So I'm trying to do more stuff on Patreon and like getting that Discord server up and like being a bit active in there and having this community with you. And hopefully that is something that appeals to more of you and something that more of you would like to be a part of, because the support really does help me out a lot, because scary having to step back a little bit and prioritize other things because you never know what's going to happen. So if you do want to help support me and the channel, then please do go check out Patreon, patreon.com/savvycat. There's a whole bunch of perks over there, including access to this Discord server. And I also have started a book club on a separate Patreon, which is patreon.com/kiwireads, and that's Kiwi with a Q. That is a different Discord server just for purely book related stuff and like reading a monthly book, etc. It is only £2 to join. If you are interested, then you can go check out one or both of those. It is up to you. As I said, I am broadening my horizons this year because life, because I need a change, because I need extra support in the endeavors that I am now going forwards with, etc. So if you want to help support me, then please do go check those out. And also please do not forget to use the link in the description. Belisar and today's sponsor. Using the sponsors, and even just clicking on the links really does help support me as well. So I really do appreciate all of the support that you give me. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe as well. It all really does help. I am so close to 500k now, so please do hit subscribe if you aren't already. And I'm aware I'm at the very end of the video, so no one is watching this anymore, but you know, c'est la vie, I gotta try. A huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Polar Bee, Sienna, Alicia, Marielle, Bree, Bay the Trucker, Chastity, Beckett, Prismatic Petey, Sushi Kawaii, Phil the Duck, Jessie, River, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Chris, Ellie, Alexis, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes, you replace the darkness.